we don't need roads.
Alicia, seriously, what an honor to meet you. I've never had the chance to chat with you before, so I appreciate you giving me a chance to talk with you.
Nice to meet you too.
I
Hi,
have a
Jake.
thousand questions for you. You're phenomenal in this movie. What I'm curious about is because your filmography is so vast, I'm sure fans approach you to talk about many different films, but I'm curious to know how the size of the film affects how a fan approaches you. Do you find that interactions differ when someone wants to talk about Tomb Raider or Man from U.N.C.L.E. versus maybe the smaller, more intimate films like this one or Danish Girl or Ex Machina?
Mm, mm, no. I mean, it's interesting. In one way, it's interesting to talk about maybe something like, when you use genre. It's interesting that you say Ex Machina, which, a lot of people, it's a lot of people who, really like that film, and I do too. But that is, a film that kind of became a lot bigger, even though that is a very small indie movie. But I think due to the genre, sometimes people don't know that because they think it's special effects in it. So it must be a bigger
Yeah,
film.
it was easily
But
$100 million movie.
yeah, yeah. Well, it was actually, I mean, we shot in like 5 weeks, probably even less than Blue Bayou. But no, I think the beauty with film or storytelling is that it's a very personal thing. And I think it's wonderful when anyone wants to come up and talk about a film that they enjoy, that, it just comes, I think there's no there's no difference in the love or passion that people have for something. If it connects with you, it does.
For sure, for sure. My parents often talk to me about how having kids changed certain movies for them. They saw them differently, or there were some movies that they couldn't rewatch now that they had children. In the years to come, how do you think that motherhood might change how you look back on Blue Bayou?
Oh, look back. It's interesting. I mean, I don't really obviously having a child suddenly, that shift happens in life. I don't normally go back and watch my own films, but obviously,
You're
had I
missing
had
out. They're
children.
really great.
No, I don't think no, yeah, I just haven't done really. But obviously the experience of shooting Blue Bayou had been different had I had a child at that point. So I think it's more looking forward that, of course, this is now another amazing tool, which, a life experience, which is what I use to create my fantasies and ideas for characters when I read scripts and make films. So obviously I'll now have another level of depth and understanding for certain things.
For sure. Well, congratulations on that. But I don't do personal questions, but I just want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
Whenever you are a part of projects that touch on social issues going on today, whether it's immigration policies or the rights of transgender people, I'm sort of curious, how does it affect how you crack open a newspaper or turn on the news at night? In what way do your own projects sort of affect how you see what's going on in the world?
I don't know. It's maybe the way we live now, in the sense that it's incredible that we can look for information in a second. And I think after I read the script, I was kind of baffled by the fact that this could happen to any child or an adult who have been adopted into a country. And I realized this is not only an American issue. This has happened all over the world, and it's like thousands of adopted children that ends up in a legal situation, a loophole where governments have been able to deport them, even though they've lived their entire life in their home country now. So as soon as I had read the script, I kind of ended up going on my phone, reading about it, searching for more information, and that is a wonderful thing today, that you can do that, and that I think as if people can watch the film and then feel like they're curious to know more, there is a very easy way to do so.
Absolutely. Well, the film is beautiful. Your performance is beautiful. And I know you have a very busy day today. So seriously, thank you for fitting me. And I really appreciate it. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you, Jake. Thanks.
All right. Take care. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Justin, seriously, so good to see you, man. Congratulations on this, dude. I'm freaking in awe of what you're able to do. So in fact, I'm actually going to start with that because I'm genuinely fascinated by all the skills that you have both in front of and behind the camera. So I'm sort of curious, in your mind, from your perspective, are you a filmmaker who can act very well, or are you an actor who also knows how to make a great movie?
Ah, wow. That's a pretty tough question. I think I think I'm both. You know, it's hard to say I'm more one or the other. But especially, but definitely, I started off as an actor. I never had any thought about directing until maybe about 10 years ago, and I slowly started to learn and build my craft. But at this point in my career, I do think I'm equally both. But you know, acting is taking a bit of a backseat in my career. So I do find myself thinking more about directing these days.
You know, sort of extending on that idea, then, sort of now that you know what it takes to be both in front of and behind the camera, do you find yourself bringing more acting knowledge behind the camera with you to direct with, or do you find yourself bringing more directing knowledge in front of the camera to make you a better actor?
Hmm. Also a very good question. I've never been asked this. I would think that because I trained as an actor for so long first, it is the latter. I think that the acting, you know, kind of informs the directing. You know, I really am fascinated with people and relationships, and I'm always trying to build empathy for characters, and I love scene work. You know, so I tend to spend a lot of time on performances and making sure that actors, you know, are fully, you know, comfortable with the characters they're realizing. So I would say, you know, that I tend to come as an actor a lot of times, but you know, of course, there's a technical aspect to directing that I have to honor and service when I'm making films.
Absolutely. You know, what's fascinating about this character is watching him deal with decisions that he's made in his past that's kind of still haunt him. I'm sort of curious, do you have a professional decision that you've made, a film, a role you didn't take, a line reading, not, you know, not taking one more take on set that still haunts you to this day?
Yeah, you know, I think you know, what I think the first commercial that I ever booked, this was about 20 years ago. You know, it was I was you know, part of the T-Mobile poser posse, and you know, the audition, you know, there's supposed to be these faux wannabe gangsters, and I came in and I gave myself this really generic, non-specific, non-tasteful Asian accent, and you know, I really regretted that choice right away. You know, at least if like you're gonna do that, make it authentic. And I was at lunch and I felt I totally made a mistake, and somebody sat across from me, you know, and asked me why the long face, and I said, you know, I explained to him, you know, I regretted the decision, and he said, well, now you know, don't do it again. And so I've always remembered that, and it is something that I think about time to time.
That's fascinating. So fascinating, man. Hey, dude, seriously, I genuinely love the movie and really try to step up my questions to be worthy of an interview with you, man. So
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you taking the time, and thanks for chatting with me.
Thank you, Jake.
All right, man. Take care. Bye, guys.
Take care.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.